Hello, my name is Rajat. I am CEO of Prashanti Forex. Today I am going to tell about foreign exchange and its needs. The objective of this session is you will be able to define foreign exchange and state the need of foreign exchange. Foreign exchange. What is foreign exchange? We go by what Foreign Exchange Management Act 1919 FEMA says. Forex is exchange of one currency into another currency, and rate. It is the rate at which one currency is converted into another currency. It includes balances held abroad by a country. It includes foreign currency, notes and coins, balances kept abroad in accounts in banks, and instruments payable in foreign currencies like letter of credit, traveler's check, checks, drafts, gift checks, etc. Now, is it controlled? Yes. Foreign exchange control first introduced under the DIR, Defense of India Regulation in 1939 during World War II to conserve forex. Then in 1947, FERA, that is Foreign Exchange Regulation Act was made, and it was replaced in 1973 again. In 1999, this Regulation Act was converted to Exchange Management Act 1999 in tune with the changing times, and it came from effect in 2000. So earlier it was a controlled thing, now it's a managed thing. From FERA to FEMA, it was a transformation of the government's approach from control and conservation to encouragement and promotion. Now, FEMA aims at consolidating and amending the law relating to forex with the objective of facilitating external trade and payment and for promoting the orderly development and maintenance of forex markets in India. Offenses in the FERA, they were criminal, means you were told you were a criminal, you were treated as a criminal, and they were civil. But in FEMA, it is not so. And there was a negative list of transactions, the list of transactions that cannot be conducted under the current account. They have been pruned. Now, why do we need foreign exchange? That is the main question. Need for foreign exchange. Every country has its own individuality in terms of its culture, standard of living, style of management, of its economy, etc. That extends to an individual currency also, which will be its legal tender currency. Legal tender currency is the currency of a country in which people can settle their mutual dues within that country and gets discharged. Like in India, we can buy in Indian rupee, we can go to a market, give Indian rupee and buy anything. So Indian rupee is the legal tender currency of Indian market. Within the boundaries of each country, it is legal tender currency which is required for paying to hotels, transports, rents, and other purchase of goods. So, if a person is on visit to any other country, it requires the legal tender currency of that country for his or her expenses. For this to happen, he has to convert the local currency into a foreign currency. That is why we need foreign exchange. For example, when a tourist from USA lands in India and his currency is US dollar, he requires Indian rupee to pay for his purchases. So he has to convert US dollar into Indian rupee. There are special exchange counters at all airports and star hotels to facilitate such conversions as the current rate. So if 1 US dollar is equal to 74 rupees, and foreign tourist who exchanges 100 US dollars, he will get 7,400 rupees, Indian rupees. And then he can transact in India in Indian rupees. He doesn't need to carry his US dollars because everybody will not accept the US dollars. If the foreign tourist only has limited cash in US dollars for immediate expenses, but also has brought some drafts drawn in US dollars or in Indian rupees on Indian banks, he has to go to a bank and get it encashed in Indian rupee. If it is in US dollar, then the bank converts dollar into rupee and he pays the tourist. Banks from different countries, they arrange among themselves to draw drafts on one another to serve this customer better. So he need not have an account in Indian bank. He can go to any bank and get his exchange, money exchange. Now, an Indian working in USA and non-resident Indian, he has a bank deposit in US dollar in American bank, in saving bank and fixed deposit accounts. Banks in different countries maintain balances with either each other to help their customers. Indian banks maintaining accounts in American banks in US dollar, and American banks they maintain accounts in Indian rupee in Indian banks. So banks also maintain accounts with each other to facilitate the customers. Now we have seen the two different examples of different type of foreign exchange as defined in FERA. Quite simple, it is not. Try an example of an Indian tourist going abroad. Before proceeding further, let us try to understand something about international trade. Adam Smith propounded the theory of absolute advantage in 1776. Each country may be more efficient than the other in producing a particular commodity. Like, for example, India may be very good a producer of wheat, but they may not be able to produce electronics not as efficiently as some other country is producing. So they may be expert in a particular currency, they may be expert in particular agriculture produce, but all agriculture producers cannot be produced in India. All things cannot be manufactured in India. Similarly, some things which can be efficiently manufactured in India or produced in India, they cannot be produced in a foreign country. That is why there is a trade between countries, which so the country which can make a commodity more efficiently than the others by utilizing the least resources when compared to others for producing one unit of commodity, they specialize in manufacture of that commodity for itself and for others so that the more people get advantage of lower cost. Now suppose we are producing wheat at 2 rupees per kg, but Bangladesh is producing at 4 rupees per kg. So what is easier for Bangladesh? It is easier for Bangladesh to import wheat from India. So the main defect of this theory that it ignores the cost of transportation. Suppose we are exporting wheat from India to Bangladesh, it requires a transportation cost. But if the transportation cost is less than 2 rupees, then it is beneficial. We have taken example of 4 rupees and 2 rupees. But if the transaction cost of carrying wheat from India to Bangladesh is more than 2 rupees, then it doesn't make sense for Bangladesh to import from India. Then in 1817, David Ricardo, they propounded another theory called comparative advantage. Even if one country has absolute advantage in few products than other countries, that country should focus on those products in which it has maximum advantage. International trade, that is trade amongst different countries, take place due to the cost differences. Trading globally gives consumers and countries the opportunity to be exposed to goods and services not available in their own countries. For example, Switzerland produces very good chocolates. So, we can have access to chocolates produced in Switzerland. Almost every kind of product which can be found on an international market, food items, clothing, automobile spare parts, oil, jewelry, beer, etc., they can be accessible across the globe. You can get foreign brand liquor, you can get foreign brand clothing, you can get foreign cars, you can get food items, you can get everything available globally in India now. Again, Services like tourism, banking, insurance, consulting, and transportation, they can also be traded. People go to Europe, they have to buy euro. You have to do trading uh, transaction in America, so you need to have an account in USA. Somebody who is having business in India, but he is a foreign national, he has to take insurance because he wants to insure himself against the losses in India. So all this is possible because of international trade and due to competition, the customer pressures. This is also compels the producer to improve the quality of the products. If we are not giving good quality, then definitely the people will import from some other country to get a better quality product. Global trade facilitates nations to use its resources, labor, technology, or capital more efficiently. Countries are endowed with different assets and natural resources, for example, land, labor, capital, and technology. Countries which can make some good use of this more efficiently, they sell it more cheaply than other countries and they become exporter of that goods or services. If a country cannot produce efficiently an item, it can obtain it from other country that can, which is known for its specialization in international trade. In short, the countries buy from and sell to other countries on the basis of their comparative advantage. Even if it is a country which has an absolute advantage over another, it can still benefit from the specialization. So, if international trade has to take place, there should be a proper functioning system to smoothly exchange currencies into another currencies. Since the buyers will require to exchange their currencies into the seller currencies. Further, when a financially surplus country wants to invest in another country, it has to necessarily convert its own currency to host country currency. If you see, Indian equities has a lot of foreign investments. What they have done, they have taken money in US dollars, they have converted it into rupee, and they have invested in Indian equity. Similarly, if you are sitting in India and you want to invest in dollar, you have to convert your Indian rupee into US dollars, send money abroad, invest in shares of USA, and get advantage of the US market. This has been observed that the financial flows, that is investments among countries, are many more times as compared to the currency flows on account of physical trade of commodities. That means the investment flows from one country to another country, they are much, much more than the export and import receipts on basis of commodities. Now, globalization, what it does? It increases foreign direct investment across countries. Then it integrates financial markets. New financial instruments are being developed. They cater to borrowers as well as lenders in an international market. Then economic space shrinks due to international trade via rapid improvements in communication and transportation technologies and consequent reduction in costs. Now, what are the risks? There is a risk of uncertainty of exchange rate. It has to impact on sales volume, prices, and profits of exporters and importers. Country risk. Foreign investments and credit granted, difficulty in using legal channels or seize assets from buyers in another legal jurisdiction. Remittances restrictions imposed by foreign governments. Like in India, there are restrictions that you can only take out 20,000 US dollars in cash and some amount in checks. So there is a restriction. It is not a free flow. Then sudden imposition of tariffs or quotas. Subsidi- like if you remember, recently we have banned lot of imports from China. Then this is done to subsidize the local producers and imposition of non-tariff barriers. So this is the risk in international trade that today you are doing a business, all of a sudden the there is some restriction and you are not able to do the business. So to summarize, Currency flows from one country to another on account of trade in physical goods or investments and gifts. Tourist is one example of trade in services, and remittances of non residents to their home countries and investments is another example of foreign exchange. Thus, this gives rise to need to convert one currency to another currency. Now, I will like you to check your understanding. You should find out what is the definition of foreign exchange as per FEMA. Then, what are the advantages of international trade? Third, what are the theories of foreign exchange and explain them? And fourth, discuss why foreign exchange is required. I hope this presentation has helped you in understanding the basics of foreign exchange and why it is required. I am Rajat Prasad. I am CEO of Prashanti Forex and I take goodbye from all of you. Thank you.